Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is your host, King Gil. Welcome to another Carlos Correa saga. But today we're not going to talk about that. We don't talk about that much about Carlos Correa because, as we can see, the saga continues. We're in day 8 or 9th, and nothing has happened. And that's why I said in my first video, this is why it benefits the Mets, because they're working on verbiage. And that's guaranteed. They're working on verbiage. Though Scott Boras says there may be some teams that are interested, but I doubt that. That's just a tactical move. But I'm just thinking they're just working on the verbiage so they can get this deal done. Carlos Correa expressed that he wants to go to the New York Mets. He expressed it so much that Scott Boras said that he tackled him in the hotel room when he found out that the Mets had made an offer. But let's just go wait and see. I want to move on from this Carlos Correa saga for now. What do you guys think of this? Or will this happen? Before you do so, guys, subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell to notify you when I upload a video or when I go do a live. So as you know, the Angels are going nowhere. They basically have no team except for Trout and Shonei. And we know that Othani this year will be a free agent. And that as of yesterday, Mike Trout put out concerns that he wants to be traded because he doesn't want to be in a team that's not going to go nowhere. I mean, the purpose when he signed to Los Angeles because he thought that the team was going to get big, and, get stronger, and compete. I mean, they went out there, they got Shonei and stuff like that, but it hasn't worked out. It hasn't worked out. You gotta an outfielder and Othani that he pitches and catch and plays outfield, and you still lose. You still lose in a society where 86 games or 89 games can get you in the playoffs. That's how low you have to go. That's how the thresholds have gone, and they still can't get into the playoffs. So Trout said that he wants to be traded, and one of the teams that he wants to be traded to, Yankees, Phillies, or the Mets. Some people say he's inclined to. He would prefer the Phillies. He's an East Coast kid. He's from New Jersey. New Jersey and Philly are not that far apart. But the issue is that he has that massive contract, and again, he has that bad back. Is a team going to be able to take that contract with his bad back that he can go anywhere? Or will they reconstruct his, let's say the Mets get one team gets him, will they reconstruct his contract where it says if you get hurt because of that back and you lose X amount of games, then the contract is voided. Whatever verbiage they want to use. But I believe that they won't be there next year. And Steve Phillips, who was the general manager for the New York Mets, said 3 days ago on ESPN that Othani will be a New York Mets next year because Steve Cohen, Mets owner Steve Cohen, will go out there and get him. That would be great. I mean, I'm not a big fan of him because I haven't seen him play. That's why I don't follow the American League, which I've done from now on. If this channel boops up, I'm going to start doing baseball, and I will follow all baseball because I do love baseball. But I'm a diehard Mets fan, and we'll see how that goes. I mean, you can always move Marte center. That's his position, and move Nemo to left. Why they gave Nemo that contract is beyond me. That was way too much money for too much time. If you follow the New York Mets, you will see that something that I've observed over the past few years, that when Brandon Nemo plays every day, he starts every day, he has a tendency to lack off because he's tired. But if you play every other day, or every three days or 4 days in a row, they give him days off, that's when he shines the most. But to give him, to give him $170 million for so many years, it's just way beyond. But it is what it is. It's Steven Cohen's money, right? And then you got Kana in left field. He's okay. But we don't have a third baseman. Escobar is okay. The only thing I don't like about Escobar is that Escobar does not play the line. And one of the things that you have to do, if you are a third baseman, and good third basemen do this, if you are a third baseman and the guy's right-handed, you play more towards the line because that's what 95% of the ball is going to go to, is towards the line. is towards the line. And you know how many balls have gone through Escobar? One, he's short, but that's the besides point. But have gone through the line that he could have just dove if he was there, or he caught it if he was there. When you're left-handed, when you are a first baseman and it's a left-handed batter, you're supposed to protect that line because that's where most of the time that's where it goes through. That's why you have the great Keith Hernandez, the great Mike Schmidt, the great George Brett. You know, Greg Nettles, that used to play for the Yankees, one of the best third basemen that ever lived. He used to guard that line. Okay, Brooke Robinson, guys that guard the line because they knew balls were going to hit there. Nowadays, you don't see that. You don't see fundamental baseball. You know, guard the line, do this, do that. Let's bunt here. Let's run. Let's steal a base here. No one's ever saw. When was the last time you saw someone reach 60, 70 RB? I mean, 60, 70 stolen bases? You don't. People are not stealing the way they used to. How many bunts do you see in a game? Maybe none. So the fundamental baseball, the things that got her into baseball, are getting obsolete. You know, now we're gonna have a clock to pitch against. The bases are gonna be bigger. The shift is no longer there. It's gonna be shift one instead of game. It's just a good thing. I don't like the shift anyway. But the game of baseball is changing. So, how you guys tell me? Would you want Trout and Shonei to be in the Mets uniform? Because if then you say there is a Mets uniform next year. You don't have to necessarily play Trout. You don't necessarily have to play Trout at center field. You can always DH him to give that back to Russ. You can put Nemo there, or you can put Shonei there and move. You know, you can put Marte in center, and even Shonei, and leave Shonei right because Marte is that's his natural position, which is center field, and you can move Nemo to left. I mean, you don't need the greatest arm there in left field. Your best arm, it has to go to right. You know, but that's the way it is. I mean, we're overpaying a lot of people. I mean, when you see Max Scherzer, you see Justin Verlander, they overpay people. Not because of the age. You just look at them. Neither of those two pitchers have reached 100 wins. None. They've reached World Series. They won World Series, but they haven't reached 100 wins. And what killed the Mets in the playoffs with DeGrom and Max Scherzer, they basically threw all fastballs. You think those guys were not waiting for them to throw? These two, DeGrom and Scherzer, were overhyped. They wanted to get things done, and he just kept throwing fastballs and he just kept getting slapped. Rarely a slider, rarely a curve, rarely a sinker. None of that. And these guys was just waiting. They just put the bat and boom, and it flew out. And our batters didn't do anything. And then in the Atlanta game, you put rookie Alvarez to play, which that was a bad idea. And the kid struck out every time. He swung at every ball. But you knew that was going to happen. I mean, Buck Showalter is the second winningest coach in Major League history. He should have known that. He should have known that this kid, by bringing him up, by putting him to play, he was going to swing at everything. Just for the simple fact that he wants to show off. He wants to make a mark, which is nothing wrong with that. But every player that comes up, it's not a Tony Gwynn. It's not a Don Mattingly. You know, he was overwhelmed and he wanted his parents were there. He just swung at everything just, to make contact or try to. And we lost that game. That would have given us home field. That series would have given us, if we won, home field advantage. Things probably would have been different if we had gone to a 4-game instead of a 3-game game. You're out. But best of 5. You know, those are the things that management has got to learn to take care of. You can't put in a rookie that you've never played baseball to play in a playoff game. You just can't do that. Because why did they do it for? For fans, so more people could come and fulfill the stadium. That's all they did it for. And they shot him in the ass. I, as a manager, said, no, I don't need Alvarez in here. Because he's not going to help me out. At least not now. Let us bring him in the spring. Let him play some spring games. And if you want to, let him play 10 to 20 games from the beginning of the season. Let's see how he acclimates himself to that. Give him 30 days. Because you can do a lot in 30 days. You can win a lot of games. You can lose a lot of games. The beginning of the season is very important as towards the end. And see how, and you evaluate him. He at that time, he will be seeing a lot of Major League pitching. You'll be able to assess somewhat assess of, okay, do we keep him up here because he is showing progress, or should we send him back to the minors? Should we do that? So it's it's all up to management. But that's what I would do. I wouldn't put the kid in a risk. You brought in Beatty didn't do nothing. Vencio didn't do nothing. These kids are minor leaguers, but are they ready to play? The only way you can do that if you put them to play in a season that does not matter. You could put Beatty at third base, and you'd say we get Carlos Correa, and you can put Correa DH sometimes. Well, you can leave Correa at third base, and when he needs some rest, you put Beatty, because that body of Correa is going to need he's going to get wear and tear, so he's going to need rest if he comes to the Mets, which I think he will. So it's just look. If you look at teams before, Arizona Diamondbacks when they won the World Series, the Florida Marlins when they won the World Series, they were expansion teams. Who do they have? Bonilla. Who do they have? Ivan Rodriguez. Who do they have? Leiter. They really didn't have big. Ivan Rodriguez was the biggest name that they had. I think they also had Dontrell Willis. They had a good team. They didn't have a great team. You say, oh my God, he's first base was great. They didn't have that. But what they did have, they had camaraderie. They had the willingness to win. They weren't swinging at everything that they came down the pipe. They weren't overdoing it. You see? And they've won 2 World Series. They won as a wild card. Actually, the Mets have only won 2 World Series. And they weren't wild cards. They've been to the World Series 3 times, the Mets, in 60-some odd years. Think about that. While the Marlins been to 2 World Series in less than that. Think about that.